Let's meet our special guest for the morning. I'm very excited about this. It's Dragon's Den star Deborah Meaden. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Now, Deborah made her fortune in the leisure industry before joining the Den 3 years ago. She's just written this, Common Sense Rules, which promises to teach you and me everything we need to know to make it rich. What are your favourite rules? Do you have any favourite rules?
The one that I do keep banging on about is I hear so often people saying, keep in touch with your customer. You know, the customer's king and the customer's really important, and then they completely ignore them.
Yeah,
You know, and it's just, to me, so obvious. Watch your customer, respond to your customer, you know, and they're changing all the time. I'm a different person today than I was last year.
I like the line, and I think this is great, that I'm not always nice, but I'm always fair.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can be quite tough, and I know that. But to be honest, I could go for the populist vote. I know what people will want me to say. I know the nice thing to say, but actually, I think it's quite unkind to lead people to believe that they should carry on with something that actually is going to fail. So I think I'm doing my job, and I think I'm doing the right thing by saying, don't do that.
I've never asked a dragon this, but do you worry about your money, what you're investing, your name, when you take a project on? Does that figure in?
I don't worry. To be honest, I just don't worry about stuff, you know. I'm sorry. I know it's annoying. My husband worries. He worries a lot.
Well, there's got to be one half has to
Yeah, he
worry.
does all the worrying for us. I'm just not a worrier.
So you just get on with it?
Just get on with it, absolutely. That's another thing I say in the book, you know, get on with it.
Well, we will, to a clip, with a new series of Dragon's Den coming up in the summer. We don't have that to show you, obviously, but we do have a reminder of Deborah in action, taking a pitch for a home security business. Well, we have a question from the audience, I believe, as well.
So next to me is Mel, who accidentally got stuck in a lift with Deborah this morning, I understand. What's your question?
Is it difficult being the only woman in the Den?
Oh, good question. Good question.
Well, I think it's very nice when I come here and somebody recognises I'm the only woman in the Den, because the
Duncan
boys...
Valentine's a bit of a woman,
The
really.
boys... Well, exactly. No, the boys don't recognise it at all, so I've got no idea. They don't cut me any slack, they treat me... Do you know, it's funny, as a dragon, you almost become genderless. You know, I'm a dragon, and
what about within the world of commerce and business? Do you feel your sex at all there, or have we moved on?
I don't. Again, I ignore it, and I tell you why. If I recognise it, other people recognise it, and they kind of... You take these roles, but I don't. I completely ignore it. So you know, I don't know what it's like to be a woman in business, because I don't consider myself a woman in business. I consider myself a business person in business.
Good. Good. Hardy.
What have you invested in so far? And are you kind of keeping tabs on how it's gone? How regularly are you checking? Is it every quarter? Do you look at the management reports? Do you look at the profit and loss? You know, are you... I don't really know what...
He's watched Dragon's Den and he thought, I need to say profit and loss.
For that reason, Deborah, I'm out.
No, it depends. When I first invested in a business, I spent quite a bit of time working out what that business needs, and that might need a lot of my time, it might need very little of my time. I find when businesses aren't going well, I tend to check up on them a little bit more often than when they are.
I suppose you've got to have the balance correct between running that business for them and advising them.
People misunderstand that. You know, I have to be very clear with them. I'm not running your business for you. This is not what I'm here for. I'm here to help you run your business. The entrepreneur themselves, I'd be doing them a disservice if I tried to run their business for them. That's what they're there for. That's what they want to do.
Can you teach? Because sometimes people are talking about maybe education, we've got it wrong, too much emphasis on geography and history, which no one's studying anyway. Do you think you can actually teach entrepreneurialism?
I think there are certain traits that are common in all entrepreneurs that I suspect are character traits rather than being taught. Such as they're all competitive. They're all we are all very competitive people. We're pretty resilient, we're pretty brave, we'll take risks. We're emotionally intelligent, and I don't mean academically intelligent, I mean very perceptive, because you're watching all the time about people's reactions and what the opportunities are. So they're present in everybody, but it isn't the same, you know, you see thousands of different types of people, but but those characteristics are always present.
So would you be an advocate of things like competitive sports day as opposed to everyone's a winner or no one's a loser sports days?
Do you know, everybody knows who's won or lost. It's no point giving them a certificate and saying, well, well done for taking part, because that child knows I didn't win. You know, we're a competitive species. You know, that is what we're all about. It's all about getting better all of the time. So we are competitive, whether we like to...
Do you think we could get more of this across in schools? Even allowing for the fact that not everybody may have that competitive edge, that perhaps education is not practical enough.
Yeah, I think my take on education is actually, I believe everybody is good at something. Everybody is born with a skill. The problem with our education system is if they're not the traditional, very linear, very tight skills, if you're not good at that, then you're not considered good. My thing about education is find out what somebody is good at and encourage that. That's my issue.
Yeah. Now, you started very early in business. I mean, you were working with your mum when you were, like, sort of 6 years old, something like that? What were you doing then?
Well, it was fantastic. I mean, I was getting to work and all my friends were playing shop and playing grown-ups, and I was getting to be in a shop, you know, and sitting at the till. I'm not saying I was operating the till, but I was there and I was doing stuff. Fantastic.
And you obviously adore your mum. I mean, that comes through clearly in the book there. But she really struggled, didn't she, trying to back you, even sort of placing you with another family?
Yeah, I mean, you know, she was. She'd been divorced She made a mistake early on. She got divorced very early. She had 2 young children in her early 20s, and you know, sometimes that meant we would go to work with her. But there were periods of time when there was, you know, we lived with a fantastic family in Brightlingsea. Wonderful family who also taught me a lot about how to be fair and how to treat everybody equally and all of those things. But yeah, she had it tough.
Is that why you've turned out the way you are, you think?
I'm pretty self-resilient, and I suspect that sort of having to get on with life and having an example of somebody who was no self-pity whatsoever. My mother never grumbled about anything. She understood. She'd made a mistake. She had to get out and she had to sort it out. And, you know, I admire that.
I do. Amanda, go on.
You used to be a model, didn't you, in Italy? Tell me about that.
No snickering in the audience.
How did that come about?
No, it was in the UK. I had a boy. I was living in Brighton. I had a boyfriend in London, and I wanted a job in London. Yeah. And I didn't have any particular. You know, I'm a generalist. I'm not a specialist in anything. And there was this job that came up, and it was for a sales room mod, and you had to be 5'6" or 5'8", whatever it was. And I thought, well, I'll just wear high heels, you know, and I'm, you know, I'll apply. But I'm stupid. The one thing you can't lie about is your height. You know, I walked in and the man said, "You're not 5'8", are you?" I said, "No, I'm not 5'2". But I think because I had...
Do you want to make something of it?
But I think because I had the gumption to apply, but he gave me the job.
Brilliant. How long did you last in there?
Not very long. Actually, I absolutely hated it. Yeah. I mean, apart from anything else, I'm surrounded by tall, beautiful girls. I mean, who's going to, you know, and I'm tiny. Yeah. From my angle, it was hell.
It was showroom work. The kind of, yeah, I did that for a while.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, hideous.
Yeah, so did I. I was just fed up of being treated like a himbo, you know.
Not singing for the real man.
You're so pretty, but you can't possibly know anything about profit and loss accounts.
Now, there's a lot of teasing and pranking going on within the den. We know that for a fact. We've heard it from James, from Duncan, and from Peter. Do they teach? Because there's the competition. Duncan loves the fact that he's the one that comes highest up on the Sunday Times rich list. Does he give you stick?
No, not really. No, I mean there's a lot of joshing goes on amongst all of us, but it's joking. It's not, you know. Yeah, I get texts, I get emails, and I sit there quietly, and I just know. That's all. I just know.
You don't play the game. You don't respond.
I don't play the game. I just know.
I've got to tell you, Grace. Duncan's become a friend of mine recently because we're both from Glasgow and we both play poker, and occasionally
I wouldn't want to play poker with Duncan.
Well, the funny thing is, I invited Duncan round for a game on a bank holiday Monday recently. I didn't tell the rest of my friends. Duncan showed up early, and everyone else came in. It's Duncan Bannatyne from the Dragons Den. I've never seen so many poker players wanting to leave so quickly. Do you know what I mean?
How did you do? Come on, you've got to tell us. How did it go?
Duncan, I was saying to Deborah earlier on, Duncan's sort of, he plays poker the way people with a lot of money play poker. They just don't really care. So he just plays every hand. But he's great company around the table. But and he's got the softest hands you've ever seen.
It's because he never does. Because he never does a hard day's work in his life. And it's not strictly
He's a lovely
true.
guy. You know.
I mean, when he's gambling, does he just pour the cash in to drive everybody else out? Or
There is a slight element of that, but the thing about poker is if you play for long enough, it doesn't matter how much money you've got, your skill starts to show at the end, which is why I've not got any money.
Now, I read in the book, it says that you were a bingo caller and that you can learn everything you need to know about business from bingo.
Absolutely. I was a very good bingo caller.
How? How do you learn about business from bingo?
It's like a microcosm of how business works. You are so directly in touch with you. It was prize bingo, so I would be here and all of the customers, 50 customers, would be sitting around me and putting in the money in the slots, and then we'd have a game, and then it would finish and we'd start another game. And you learn about the ergonomics of business, you learn that time is money. If I talk too slowly, it was costing me money. I didn't do the clickety-click, you know, every two fat ladies or clickety-click or whatever it was would slow the game down. So I just rattle the numbers out. If I went too fast, then I'd lose the customers.
Never tell researchers anything on the phone.
I can't believe that.
I've spent many years waiting for
can't
Matthew to
believe
be
it. They've
shaking his
actually
balls
got-
live on television.
They've actually got real ping pong. They said, I said, just go and buy a do-it-yourself bingo kit. How hard can it be? On this show, with this budget, very hard.
Very rare.
And they've actually bought ping pong balls and written on them with felt-tip pen.
Well, what are you going to do with them?
Well, I
Now that
don't
you've
know.
got them,
Do some
Matthew?
bingo calling. How does it go? This is like it's been a long time. I want to see your style.
Right.
Right.
OK. Nice and clear, my style. It's 9090. That's it. No.
I already feel ready
Oh, you
to-
see, they're all disappointed now.
I wanna-
That's
I wanna
it.
make- I wanna
It's
make millions
numbers.
from that.
But, however, there was a hint, because bingo does have a lot of numbers. And I'm very good with numbers.
Clearly. Listen, go on.
Is your instinct, like when you see a product on Dragon's Den, do you know instantly that it's right for you, or do you think, I'm not really sure about it, I'm going to...
I think everybody has a first reaction to everything, don't they?
Yeah.
And I do actually rely on gut
Gut
reaction.
instinct,
If it gets down to it, I've done all the logical stuff, but that still says not right, then I won't go for it. But what I will say is that I've learned it is first impressions are not always right. So I have learnt in the Den, because people are very nervous. You know, they've got to recover. So sometimes it's just that they're really, really nervous, and I want to know if it's a good investment, not a brave person. You know, it's, so I will let them. I'll give them
That
a bit
guy
of time
one
to
time just
recover.
couldn't speak.
You only saw 2 minutes. I saw 15 minutes of him not speaking. That was quite.
Listen, great to have you here. My girlfriend's gutted. She wanted to take the day off work to meet you. That's how big a fan she is. But no, she's got to sell records for Sony Music instead. Let's throw it open. Well, we're going to tell you about today's show, first of all.